Imagine you've just landed in an English-speaking country, maybe for a conference, or, even just meeting a new neighbor down the street. That very first interaction, that simple hello, it really sets the entire tone for everything that follows, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's, like you said, a whole universe of connection packed into one or two words. It's pretty fundamental.
So today we're doing a dump dive into exactly that. The art of English greetings and introductions. These are really the foundational steps, the pragmatics of communicating confidently.
hmm
We've got some great starting points from English Made Easy, greetings and introductions. It breaks down saying hello, asking names, introducing yourself.
That's a good base.
But we want to go a bit deeper, right? Our mission for you listening is to really equip you with the tools to start those conversations confidently, moving beyond just knowing the words.
Exactly. Because our goal isn't just reciting phrases, it's understanding the why and the how. These small phrases, they seem small, but they're the gateway. The gateway to building rapport, to shaping how people see you, even understanding social cues.
Yeah, it's about moving from knowing the dictionary definition to, well, mastering that crucial first connection, making it feel natural and friendly.
I was genuinely struck by that idea from the source, the universe of connection in a hello. I hadn't really framed it like that before. What do you think that universe actually entails?
Well, think about it. Within that hello, we're signaling our intentions, right? Our level of respect. Are we open to talking more?
Hmm.
It's like a quick, almost subconscious negotiation of social space. Choose the right greeting, you open a positive channel, choose maybe the wrong one for the context. You might accidentally put up a little barrier. It's all about the social register you pick, right from the first sound.
That idea of social register is so important here, isn't it? Because, yeah, there isn't just one way to say hello. And that choice you make is loaded with subtle meaning. It depends on the context, how formal you need to be. Definitely not one size fits all. Indeed. English gives you this spectrum of greetings.
Right.
So you can tailor your opening not just for the time of day, but for the social distance you want to set up or maintain. It's core pragmatics, how context shapes meaning, and what you choose to say.
Okay, so let's break some down. The source, English Made Easy, mentions hi for informal, friendly situations. But what's interesting beyond just informal is how its shortness, its brevity, seems to signal like immediate closeness or maybe a relationship already exists.
That's a great point.
Like a linguistic shortcut when you don't need all the formal setup.
Precisely. Hi can feel pretty abrupt if you use it meeting someone, say, very senior for the first time in a formal setting.
Right.
It sort of assumes a familiarity that might not be there yet.
Yeah.
Now, contrast that with hello, as the source notes. It's got this inherent neutrality,
Right.
like the Swiss Army knife of greetings, linguistically speaking. Always appropriate, never too demanding. Business meeting, stranger on the street. Hello works. It's safe.
And talking about context brings us to the time-specific ones. Good morning, before noon, good afternoon, between noon and, say, 6 p.m., and good evening after that. Now, most people know these, but the insight is how they function. They signal a different register, right?
Yeah.
More formal than just hi or even hello. You probably wouldn't say good morning to your best friend unless you were, I don't know, being a bit sarcastic or playful.
Exactly right. These time-based greetings, they carry a bit more gravitas, weight.
Yeah, wait.
They often get chosen in professional settings when you walk into a shop or when you're addressing someone maybe you want to show a bit more deference to. It communicates respect, following social rules. And a subtle point worth mentioning, you touched on it, good evening, works as a greeting quite late into the night, unlike good night, which is really just for leaving.
Ah, good distinction.
That small difference often trips people up, learners especially. Shows an interesting nuance in how we mark social time.
That is a great observation about good evening versus good night. Shows that even with simple phrases, there's always another layer. Okay, so once that initial verbal handshake, the hello, is done, the natural next step is often putting a name to the face. Introductions.
All right.
This part, introducing yourself, also has some interesting nuances.
It really does. The act of introduction, it seems simple, but it's about establishing mutual recognition, right?
Right.
Setting the stage for talking more. It's like a basic social contract.
Our source gives us the classic, hello, my name is your name. Clear, direct, everyone understands it.
Standard.
But it also gives us, hi, I'm your name, which feels, I don't know, a little lighter, more concise maybe, especially if it's less formal, like the example, hi, I'm Sarah, nice to meet you. It just flows.
That's a key difference, actually.
Yeah.
Well, hello, my name is perfectly fine, totally correct. Hi, often sounds a bit more approachable,
Yeah.
maybe more confident in a relaxed way. Especially, like you said, casual settings, a party, meeting new colleagues maybe. And that phrase, nice to meet you, it's more than just politeness, isn't it? It's like a verbal handshake. It acknowledges the other person, shows you're pleased to meet them, signals you're open to talking more. It's really fundamental social etiquette, crucial for that good first impression. And it encourages them to respond positively, too.
So whether you introduce yourself first or they do, that reply, nice to meet you, is kind of the universal standard. Always polite, always works.
That's pretty much.
It sort of completes the circuit, acknowledges the introduction, shows you're paying attention.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about the other way around? What if you need to find out their name? Again, there are simple ways and maybe more polite ways. Depends heavily on the context, maybe even power dynamics.
This is where that pragmatic choice really comes into play. The direct "what's your name" is standard. It's acceptable in most everyday social situations. Meeting someone at a party, totally fine. Efficient.
Right.
However, choosing "may I know your name," that adds a very distinct layer. It's more formal, shows more deference.
And when would you actually pick that more formal option? Is there a risk it sounds too formal sometimes? Stuffy, maybe.
That's a really good question. Typically, you'd lean towards "may I know your name" when you're talking to someone in a position of authority. Maybe a potential client, perhaps an older person you want to show respect to. It's a way of navigating a more formal space carefully. Now, could it sound stiff? Yeah, possibly. And in a really casual setting, maybe with younger people, it might sound a little old-fashioned. You really have to read the room, gauge the social energy. That's a subtle dance, finding that balance between politeness and just sounding natural.
That difference really turns asking a simple question into, well, a conscious social decision. Our source has a great little example dialogue that shows the flow nicely. Person A says, hello, my name is Ali. What's your name? Direct, polite enough. Person B replies, hi, Ali, I'm Maria. Nice to meet you. See how that completes the exchange? Sets the stage.
Perfect little interaction, names exchanged, politeness maintained.
Okay, so names are sorted. What often happens next, that almost automatic social check-in, how are you? This gets into some really interesting territory about social rituals, doesn't it? What does asking how are you really mean for keeping the chat going?
Oh, this is truly fascinating in English communication because how are you isn't always, in fact, often isn't, a literal request for a detailed report on your well-being.
Right.
Often, it's what linguists call phatic communion, which is basically talk for the sake of connection. It's designed to establish or maintain social contact, not really to exchange deep information. Think of it like a verbal nod. It signals, I see you, I acknowledge you, I'm open to interacting.
That is such an important nuance. I definitely remember way back when I was learning English, giving someone this long, detailed answer to, how are you? And just seeing their eyes glaze over slightly.
Yes. Many learners have had that experience.
Shay's a quick lesson.
Exactly. And the real skill here is learning to recognize when someone genuinely wants to know versus when a simple, good, thanks, or fine, how are you, is the expected move to keep the social gears turning. Get that wrong? And you might overshare and make it awkward or seem cold if you don't respond appropriately. It's about understanding those unwritten rules.
So knowing that, there are a few standard safe responses. I'm fine, thank you. Pretty classic. Or I'm good, how about you? Which nicely passes the conversational baton back.
Yes, keeps it reciprocal.
Another common one, I'm doing well, thanks. All of these are perfectly fine, right? They keep the ball rolling without getting stuck in the weeds. They do that phatic job perfectly.
Precisely. They fulfill the social function without demanding too much personal detail unless it's explicitly invited later.
Okay, so now we've got all these pieces. The greetings, the introductions, asking for names, the how are you ritual. Let's put them together. See how they flow in a short, complete conversation. This is where you can really see the natural rhythm. The source gives us a great template example. Let's walk through it. Person A kicks off with, good morning.
Okay, setting that slightly more formal tone.
Person B mirrors it, good morning, acknowledging the register. Then person A introduces and asks, my name is Alex. What's your name?
Polite and direct.
Person B responds, I'm Maria, nice to meet you, using the slightly more casual I'm and adding the essential polite phrase. Person A reciprocates and keeps it going. Nice to meet you too. How are you today? Moving smoothly to the next step.
Good flow.
Person B gives that standard polite reply, I'm good, thank you. And you? Passing it back. And finally, person A closes that little loop, I'm doing great.
Yeah, if we break that down, you see how each part transitions smoothly into the next. It creates this comfortable, natural interaction pattern. It really is a blueprint for so many first encounters, isn't it? It lays the groundwork for potentially having a more substantial conversation later. It's a sequence of accepted social signals, all geared towards making connection easier.
It really is a solid blueprint, but as we've been saying, it's not just what you say. It's how you say it that makes it sound genuinely natural, friendly. That's the art, not just the science. The source gives some practical tips, and we can definitely build on those.
Absolutely. And these tips, they go beyond just getting the pronunciation right. They tap into nonverbal stuff, vocal quality, things that are so vital for actually communicating effectively.
Okay, first one. Smile when you speak. Sounds almost too simple, right?
It does, but it works.
But it physically changes your voice, makes you sound warmer, more approachable. Just think about hearing a flat, monotone, nice to meet you, versus one with a bit of lift in the voice, conveying a genuine smile behind it.
Huge difference. A smile signals openness, positivity. Even before the words come out, it sort of primes the listener to receive your greeting well. And just as important, speak slowly and clearly. Especially when you're learning, or if you're naturally a fast talker.
Yeah, why is that crucial?
Rushing can make you sound nervous or just hard to understand. But a measured pace that signals confidence and it gives the other person time to process ensures they actually hear you correctly.
That makes sense. And it's not just about output, right? Input matters too. Another great tip. Listen carefully to native speakers.
Oh, definitely.
Pay attention to their intonation. How does their voice go up or down for questions versus statements in these greetings? Notice the rhythm, the pauses, how they phrase things. You absorb so much just by observing. It's like mini immersion.
That active listening, followed by actually practicing out loud, that's the bridge. That's how you get from knowing the phrase in your head to doing them naturally, authentically when you need them.
So practice is key.
Absolutely. Record yourself. It can feel awkward at first, but hearing how you sound, saying, "How are you?" with different intentions, maybe one genuinely curious, one just polite, lets you hear the difference. That self-awareness is incredibly powerful for improvement.
Okay, so to wrap things up a bit, today we've really dug into the whole spectrum of English greetings and introductions. We went beyond just the basic words to uncover their social functions, those pragmatic nuances, and the art of delivering them with real confidence. You've hopefully got a better feel for choosing the right register for the situation,
Right.
understanding those unwritten rules, like with "how are you?" and mastering that verbal handshake.
Which leads to an important question for you listening to think about. Consider a greeting or an introduction from your own native language. How does its formality level or its directness or maybe the underlying social job it's doing? How does that compare to the English phrases we talked about today?
Ooh, interesting comparison.
Yeah, like do greetings in your language involve more physical contact, bowing maybe, or kissing cheeks? And what does that imply socially compared to the maybe more verbally focused English approach we discussed? What similarities or differences really jump out at you?
That's a fantastic thought to ponder. It really highlights the cultural aspect. So you now have not just the phrases, but hopefully a deeper understanding and some practical tips, enough to confidently start those conversations in English.
Which is a huge step.
It really is a huge step towards more meaningful, engaging interactions. So keep practicing, keep listening actively, and keep connecting.